There are very many questions here, and they're all over the place. So we will do the best we can to try to sort them. The next question, will a standalone fire department cost more to operate than we currently spend on the CAL FIRE contract? And this person would like to include total yearly costs for salaries and benefits for firefighters. So let's see, Mr. McIntosh, would you like to start with that one?
Well, first of all, the budget's the budget, and there's no additional cost, whichever organization is here. If you wanted to talk, I believe they asked specific about labor differentials. We've done an analysis on that, and the last analysis that came back, talking with Miss Susan George, who was the town of Woodside's financial person. She's come up with a number of $360,000 as being the differential from a salary standpoint. Now that's just a straight salary standpoint. Doesn't talk about retraining, doesn't talk about all the other issues that surround a very complicated process. But the answer is very simply, we have $8 million budget. We're not raising taxes, no new taxes. It's all being done within the existing budget.
Let's see, Ms. Anderson, can you address this cost of?
Yes, the $360,000 difference, according to Gary Burke, who is one of the two minority members of the fire board who supports the recall, is due to the fact that when Ms. George and the rest of the consultants came in with their figure of how much it was going to cost, they left out some important things, one of which, and the gentlemen to my left and right have been harping on training. They're not budgeting a training officer for their new department. And this department can't materialize in the next 3 months, which they somehow magically seem to think they're going to be able to do, ain't gonna happen. So come the 1st of July, you don't know who is gonna show up when you call 911. That scares me. I hope it scares you too.
Thank you. Mr. McCusick.
Okay, so the question is, well, how much do you pay a CAL FIRE fireman and how much do you pay a San Mateo City fireman to come over here and fight fires for us? And this is an easily answered question. The starting wage paid to a CAL FIRE firefighting apparatus engineer per paramedic is $3,557 a month. This is a state wage. If we pay the state rate, same as some little town, place out of town. San Mateo Fire Department EMT starting monthly pay is $6,959. Twice as much, just about. That means you can't make a fire department without spending roughly twice as much. My time?
Thank you, thank you. Mr. O'Connell.
Yes. So it's the same number, $360,000 is where we're at right now. The difference in the budget right now between a locally run fire department of $6.373 million versus our current budget right now with CAL FIRE of $6.013 million, it's $360,000. The reason why that number is there right now is we have 35 firefighters that applied to come over as laterals. Through that attrition process of hiring, we're about at 23. The balance of what we have to hire is going to change that number. And right now, worst case scenario at $360,000. And we, as a board, picked this budget. The consultants came back to us and said to us, what do you want to build the department at, and what's the number you want to use? And we said, what's a healthy budget? They came back and said 80% of your total budget, which is closer to $9 million. So we said, okay, let's start with the fire department at $6.5 million. Okay, and that's what we're working with right now. And guess what? The numbers are right because we've got a lot of people applying. So thank you.
Thank you. And finally, Mr. Riddell.
I can't add much more except to say that these numbers are pretty good numbers because we're not dealing with a labor union. We're not negotiating for salary and benefits. The board decides what those are going to be. And we gave our consultants a certain budget number and said, we have, if we're going to go back on our own, that's the number we're going to be working with. And so that's the number we're working under. And as far as a training officer, yeah, we're going to have a training officer. And training officers are usually a captain, and that's what we have right now. It's just a captain that's assigned as a training officer. All that is just a stipend in their pay that they get a little bit more. That's all a training officer is in most organizations. So that's a non-issue. And as far as if you're worried about training and training costs, we've had hundreds of people come through our organization. Our training costs have gone through the roof with CAL FIRE. They've had such a high turnover rate. We've spent thousands.
Thank you.